So Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, who is, of course, the id of the Democratic Party, she says what all the Democrats apparently are thinking, but won't say out loud because it's too stupid. Here's Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, D-Twitch, who said that she has now demanded resignations. She's whoop-de frickin' do.
I declare bankruptcy!
She's demanding resignations. Yeah, and I demand her resignation. Wow. Is it working? No, that's not how anything works here. Anyway, here is AOC suggesting, oh, sorry, I can't call her AOC. Apparently it's sexist or something, even though it's her Twitter handle. Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, the most honorable of all Congress people, suggesting that it's time to demand resignations of, like, everyone she disagrees with, all of them.
I have demanded the resignations of Senators Ted Cruz, Senators Josh Hawley, Republican minority leader in the House, Kevin McCarthy, along with many others, because this is not just about political opinion or partisanship. This was about the abandonment of our sworn oath.
Yeah, when I think somebody who really shows fealty to the Constitution of the United States, it's the person who believes, literally said last week, that Congress should, quote unquote, rein in the media. I feel like that dry ramen guy. I'm like, point up to the text of the constitutional First Amendment. Literally says Congress shall make no law. But don't worry, it's all about fealty to it's not about partisanship, you see, because she's a totally objective source, according to herself. The lack of self-awareness is truly incredible. Okay, so meanwhile, the Washington, D.C. Attorney General, a person named Karl Racine, he has been attempting to rebut some arguments of the right. So one of the arguments of the right is, you guys are very much against political violence when it seems to spring from the Trump side. But you weren't so against political violence when it was springing from your side of the aisle 5 minutes ago. The defense, apparently, from members of the left is that, well, yeah, but it's different when our side does it. Yes, I'm noticing the double standard. Here is Washington, D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine. He says, Black Lives Matter. That's different from the Capitol riots.
When people like General Mattis make clear that what this was an attempted insurrection into our democratic ways, we know quite easily that the Black Lives Matter protest was unbelievably different. And by the way, do not let anyone, including Ken Cuccinelli or other elected officials, tell you that Democratic elected people did not condemn the violence that occurred during the summer protests. Yeah. They always did.
No. They always did. It was a week-long controversy as to whether Joe Biden was even going to speak up about it. Finally, he did. Took him a while. But they always did. Kamala Harris offered to bail people. She tried to bail people out of prison who were rioting. Bail them out of jail in Minnesota. Okay, but it's different when our side does it, right? Because we're the good side. That's the way that all of this works. And the media are declaring that before there is healing, before we come together around some basic principles like facts should matter and violence is bad, there needs to be some sort of reckoning. It's always the reckoning. It's weird because there's no reckoning on the other side. When the other side does something bad, there's no reckoning. They were just correct to do it in the first place. So if you said, listen, we're not going to have a conversation about violence in politics until you guys disown the Black Lives Matter movement, which has expressed antipathy toward America's founding, antipathy toward America's principles, until you stop with the nonsense where you go nice on rioters because they're on your side, or pretend that Antifa is just a philosophy and is no threat whatsoever. Before we get together on that, we're going to need some of that. Then it's like, no, how dare you? No. But when it comes to the Capitol riots, then it's like, it doesn't matter how forcefully you condemn the Capitol riots. It doesn't matter how forcefully you condemn the underlying lies. Or you say it was not true that the election was stolen. It was not true the vice president in Congress had the ability to overturn duly certified state electoral results. Doesn't matter. You are on the bad side. We have to have a reckoning. And the reckoning